Hello everyone. I'd like to present to you Debait, an AI system capable of debating complex topics. So in this presentation, I will explain what Debait is, how I went about to build it, and some of the examples conversations generated by the application. I will also go through its potential and future improvements, and finally a quick walkthrough of how the application works. So what is Debait? So Debait is essentially a conversational AI system that is designed to debate about an article. So given a user statement and an article, it will provide two outputs. One is a rebuttal or an agreeing statement, and two, a classification of the tone of the statement it has produced. So the models used in this application are both from Cohere. So we make use of the Cohere generate for the statement generation and Cohere classify for the tone of the statement generated. And with a bit of prompt engineering, a little bit of history modeling and classification, we can obtain a very powerful output from Cohere's models. So building the debate system consists of four important components. So we have Cohere's classify, prompt engineering and history modeling. We then have Cohere's generate to generate the statements, and then we have the GUI design itself. So the Cohere classify here, essentially, given a user or AI statement, we want to classify the statement into five of these classes that we have here on the right. So agree, partially agree, disagree, curious, or statement. And the way we went about doing this is by fine-tuning the Cohere classify model with an manually annotated data set. And we'll be seeing an example of this in the later slides. The next part is history modeling. So the history modeling includes taking any number of the latest conversations, and we then engineer the prompt by merging this with the article in question and also the current user statement. And we use all of this to essentially generate the AI's response, as you can see by the model on the bottom right. And with this engineered prompt, we then put that through Cohere's generate, and this will then give us the AI's response essentially. And finally, the GUI was designed using Python's Tkinter library, as this was a very fast and easy setup and just get something running really quickly. So here you can see the complete model of essentially what we create, how debate works. So we have the input here. So that's the history of the conversation so far. We have the article that is in question, that topic article, and then we have the user input, so whatever the statement is. The prompt engineering essentially combines all three of this, and it is then fed into the generate model of Cohere, and this will generate a response. On the other side, we're using the classify model to essentially classify the user input and the AI generated response and giving them a tone tag. So here you can see one of the graphical user interface mockups that was created initially. On the left here, we can see the article itself. So this is the article that the conversation or the debate will be will be based on essentially. And at the top here, we can see the user saying a statement, and then the AI will can do the five things essentially. Can either agree, partially agree, disagree, give a statement that kind of goes beyond it, or can ask a question or show curiosity essentially. That's what the five classes are for. This, as you can see, the UI is very simple, and the user is able to just type in the text at the bottom right there and then send it off, and the AI will reply. Now we will look at an example of the responses generated by Debate. So here we can see an example of the actual application in action. This is a screenshot of one of the conversations. So the user here is obviously the user input, and the AI is the generated text from the complete model. So here you can see that the statement written by the user is being classed as agree, as it is agreeing, it is agreement statement. And the one below it, generated by the AI, has been classed as disagree. And you can see this is correct. So if you look at the first AI response here, high ideals are well and good, but not when they come at the expense of the present. Our world is marred by war, famine, and poverty. Billions of people are struggling simply to live from day to day, and our dreams of exploring space are a luxury they cannot afford. So this does sound like a rebuttal. And at the bottom here, there are also other examples of statements and partially agree, which you can pause this video to read them if you want. And see, there are some misclassifications as expected. This was fine-tuned to a very small data set. So obviously that's one of the improvements that could be done. Here we explore the potential of debate, and there are various potential, but these are three of the top ones that I thought would definitely be of benefit. One of them was regarding fake news. So essentially, we want to prevent the polarizing of users through social media exposure. So what I mean by this is, for example, when politicians or other influential people post radical comments, a bot such as a bot such as this one, so such as Debate, would essentially force readers to consider the other side or the alternative side, and this would kind of make the reader think critically and not get swayed within one side of the argument. And this kind of leads on to the education part as well. So this kind of application can definitely help develop ideas, expand students' critical thinking skills, articulation as well, and just general resolution of conflict in their everyday, day-to-day life. And the final one was actually content generation for media. So using these kind of debates, we can have very entertaining and interesting articles, magazines, and blogs that can use that can be used to essentially generate content and ideas. So the current version of Debate definitely has a long way to go. So right now the GUI is very minimalistic and somewhat slow. And ideally we would want a better GUI and a better and a faster response from the AI side, because if this is to be used for a conversational bot, you do not want to be waiting a lot, and a lot of the times the connection times out. The API may not be able to respond as fast, and there are issues that still needs to be worked on. In terms of the model itself, we can also improve it by fine-tuning the generate model. We didn't do that. We just we just essentially changed the prompt at the moment. So essentially fine-tuning the generate model can give us better responses. And the other improvement is using more data for the Cohere classify. At the moment, it was a very small data set that was used to fine-tune the classify model. Additionally, now that we have this, so this history, essentially, the history modeling essentially keeps track of all the conversations so far. And also, because of the classification, we have the tone of the text. Essentially, once we start training it on this history training data, we can then use the Cohere generate to by essentially fixing the tone, fixing the length of the response, and then seeing what the AI responds. So essentially, we can as a user control whether the AI response is in agreement or in disagreement with what you're saying. And finally, um, we could have more metrics with the AI response to kind of move it towards explainable AI and show why the AI came up with such a response, what information used from the user, what information used from the article to come up with this, and make it more clear and also much more coherent for the person, for the users to understand where the AI is coming from, the AI response is coming from.